What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Venomcast. It's your boy, JK. Exciting episode this week, two of the best people in Venom. I mean, we only have the best in Venom, but these two are two of my favorite. One former teammate, one current teammate. We're going to bring them in to discuss this past week's race, which was very exciting. Plate races are always awesome. We're going to bring them in now. We have Garrett Rainey joining us from RNS, and we have Paul Ellison, a part of Zittle Inc., Zittle Racing Inc., Zittle Inc. Racing. One of the two. How's it going, boys?
What's going on?
So, big week for you two. It was your home race, Talladega, actually sponsored by both of you. I have to pull it up because I can't remember off the top of my head.
That'd be the Golden Eagle Red Diamond Pride of Alabama 65.
Yes, sir, indeed. Garrett's got it spot on there. But huge race for you guys. Last week, obviously, we had Cole Maxwell, Michael Dean, Brantley Gainey on the South Carolinians to enjoy their home race. Thankfully, you guys taking time out of your day to spend an hour or so with me after your guys' home race, which was quite an eventful one for all you guys, and me included. So
it was something.
It was.
I got to do a lot of spotting.
It was definitely something. Paul has some of the worst luck in Venom, which we'll get to in a moment. But for a little deeper introduction, this man, he's to my left on screen. Garrett Rainey, currently P7 in the points, 3 top 5s on the year, 7 top 10s, a high of second at Kentucky for his career, 5 top 5s, 11 top 10s. Paul Ellison, driver of the number 55 Toyota. I didn't say that, but Garrett drives a 17 Ford, sponsored by Golden Eagle. Hey man, I'm not great at this, okay? I do my best. But Paul Ellison drives a Red Diamond number 55 Toyota for Zittle Inc. 1 career win. This year he is 13th in points. 5 top 5s with 4 of them, and that is right, count them up, 4 being 7th place finishes, which is the most 7th place finishes in the season. I think Ryan's the only other person that has finished in a similar, or in the same position more times this year, and that's second, I think, about 80 million times.
Yeah.
But yeah, big win last year at Michigan, a very emotional win. Drove by me in the closing laps, and it was awesome. That was a big moment. I kind of want to talk about that. The last 2 seasons, I didn't know you in season 1. I came in season 2, but you were really good in season 1. You have 13 career top 10s. A lot of them came in season 1. 2 career top 5s, with one of them being the win. You've had some pretty bad luck since the start of season 2.
Yep.
Has that at any point kind of made your confidence? As you are, I mean, as one of the most steady drivers, I think the only other person that could make a viable argument as for steadiest driver in the league is Ryan or Garrett, when you guys aren't getting caught up in other people's stuff. So how much did that, if any, did it make your confidence waver as your ability as a driver?
It really didn't. None of that as in the driving affected me. My luck is what was bothering me, because it's like every time I turned around, no matter what I did, I was getting caught up in something.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's exemplified this season. 4 finishes in the bottom 5. I mean, every way imaginable, I think you've ended up with a bad finish. It feels like just bad luck. I mean, we talked about it before the podcast, wrecking on pit road, just a myriad of issues.
Yeah, season 2 was more of other people's issues. This season, I've done it to myself 2, maybe 3 times. I know 2 times I was the reason I had a problem. So.
And Garrett, in a similar vein, last season struggled mightily, getting caught up in a lot of people's stuff, and I mean your 3 bad finishes this year, same kind of deal, getting caught up.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man, because the even the ones I got wrecked when I was running really good one, it felt like. I know at RP I was top 5 the whole race, and got wrecked. Then like at Texas, I was in second place when I got wrecked. So yeah, it's tough, man, but it is what it is. That's part of racing. You're gonna have days where it's out of your control.
Yeah, and another race where you ran really strong, even one of your teammates forgot about it when I was talking to him. Milwaukee, you were really, really strong. I actually learned how to get around that place because of you. If I hadn't had your help, my God, I'd have been like a fish out of water. Um, you were running good there, and similar issue I think you got into it with a lap car. A lap car hit you or something.
Yeah, I was it was towards the end. I know it might have been about middle of the race. I was running second or third place, come across the start finish line, lap car, got in the wall on the straightaway, jerked it off the wall and hit me in the front end. And what a damage there. So
Yeah, a lot of strong runs. Just haven't really, in some of the stronger runs, I should say, haven't gotten to put it together. Obviously, the second place at Kentucky, Ryan picks up the win. You finish second, a really well-run race.
well,
Had
and
a
I was damaged that race too. There was no competition behind Ryan. I mean, I restarted in third actually. And I mean, there was nothing there. I was down. I think he finished the race up like 2 seconds on the field, and I finished second. It was just he was in a league of his own at the end of that race.
Yeah, and I have you picked as one of those people that, if luck does break your way, much the same with Paul. If luck starts to break your guys' way, that you're both gonna find. Well, obviously, Paul has found victory lane already, but gonna find victory lane more times in Paul's case. But Garrett's gonna end up there too. You guys run too strong not to.
Yeah,
Um,
just the tracks that I'm good at, I've got to start taking advantage of better.
yeah, you were running really strong at Texas, and uh,
Yep,
it did not.
that was on me.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't end well. I think Garrett ran well. You ran well at Texas, didn't you? Or my yeah,
No, I got looked out.
yeah,
I was on the second place.
yeah.
Pit cycle was going through, and got wrecked.
I mean, there's not anything you can do about that either. It's just a product of wrong place, wrong time. It feels like. I mean, just stuff happening all around you. Everybody has those weeks, but for you guys, it's been just back-to-back seasons of it.
Yeah, this season's been a lot better for me though. Season 2 was full of that. I mean, season 2, I won most improved driver, and I finished like 13th in points. I mean, that was my races where I didn't rank. Once again, I finished really good, but I got wrecked out a lot more. This season, I've had a lot less wrecks, and so the better finishes have been there. I finished one race outside of the top 10 where I didn't get wrecked. I've got all top tens, a 12th place at Darlington 2 weeks ago, and then the 3 races I've been ranked at. Other than that, I've been consistently top 10, and that's what my goal was for the year. I wanted to be top 10 every race. Stay out of the mess. Unfortunately, through races this year, I haven't been able to do that.
Right, and kind of like you talked about, it's gonna happen. I mean, not gonna have a perfect season where everything just goes right and you win every race. So you're gonna have those races where you run into issues. Um, Paul, I'd like to talk about the Michigan race.
All right.
Uh, Very special moment. I've never been happier to be passed for the lead. I'll say that, and I have 2 replays saved with stars, and one is Paul, expletive E, Michigan, and then the other one's Darlington. That was a huge race, and we talked about it. Season 2 was from the jump. It was not. It couldn't have been that much fun. You ended up wrecked out of a lot of races that year or that season.
Yeah, I started out with that Daytona, and I got rigged out in it, and I was pretty much climbing from the low 20s, trying to climb the whole season up. And it's just like no matter what I did, I kept getting Atlanta, running great of Atlanta, pit stop retired at the end. I'm like, yes, okay, I can do this because I love a loose racetrack. And going through turn 2, just trying to take my time to get to the wad of cars that was in there, and a whole bunch of us get wiped out. I ended up on top of my roof, flipping. I can't really remember what all happened to those. I remember it's just a just constant chaos. Eldora wiped out in there multiple times.
My bad.
Yeah. So it was a mess. And I had a bunch of other stuff going on, and so before Michigan, I almost took a break just because of everything I had going on, and I was just like, I feel like I'm just in the way out there right now. So, but I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, that's definitely something we talked about behind closed doors. Had a lot of personal, real life stuff going on, and it was getting in the way of the on track stuff. And then we come to the last, 10 laps at Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
and only
And I had saved tires just on the off chance.
Yep.
I was like, I'm going to save a set of tires because Michigan was tight for me, and I don't run as well when it's on a tight racetrack. I don't do as good. So I was like, I'm going to do it to where I save a set of tires and just see what happens. And then I almost didn't take them.
And
And then Zittel said, get your butt on pit road and get those tires.
Yep, that was season 2. We were all in. It was you, me, Carson, Zittel, all in the team chat together, and you're definitely contemplating it. There is another man that had a set of tires.
Yep.
He also happens to be in this call. Didn't quite get the same results though.
Yeah, man. So I was pitting the whole way. I was running, 8th or 9th. Tires were burned out. I was content. I was gonna finish top 10, run it back. Solid finish. I had never raced Michigan before. Caught some flag flies, and I'm like, might as well. So I pit. I come out, and there's one person in front of me on fresh tires, and that's Paul. And I'm thinking, Paul's starting caddy corner. He's on the high line. I'm on the low line, one row behind him. Right above me is fresh tires, and then a truck behind me rather is on fresh tires. So I'm thinking, if we all maintain our positions, we're at least going to be there racing for position at the end. And I knew the tire wear there was pretty good. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, all I got to do is stick to Paul. If I can ride Paul to the front, I'll race him to the bottom. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Coming around 3 and 4 on the first lap after we went green. Truck above me got loose, come down the track across me, hit me in the side, pushed me in the grass. I fell back to 16th place, I believe, and drove back up inside the top 10. I mean, I think I finished 7th or 9th or something, even after I got wrecked. So I knew I had the speed. I didn't get the opportunity. And I hated that because, Paul and I both being from Alabama, obviously the Alabama-Auburn rivalry. But Paul and I are really close. I've talked to Paul a lot, and I respect Paul a lot. And I really wanted to race him out for that one. Yeah. But we'll have that day.
After Michigan, you started a tradition on accident, and now you have to do it anytime I win, even in the preseason race I won. You did it.
Yep. So there's a new tradition here where, and I expected if I ever win a race, may not happen, but if I expect it to come from Paul also. So after the race, Paul, obviously I'm happy for Paul. Once I was out, dude, I'm cheering Paul on. Paul's never won a race. I really like the guy, and I'm thinking, dude, he's set sail. He's going to win the race. I'm cheering him on. I'm happy as can be. I go up. I'm going to sideswipe him. Just give him a little tap. Let him know, good job, brother. Well, I hit him a little too hard. Next thing I know, Paul's flying towards the inside wall across my nose. I'm like, oh my gosh, now he's not going to get to do his burnouts. He's not going to get to celebrate. Luckily, it didn't kill his truck, but we got a little tradition now. So every time I'm in a race, Paul wins. I got to give up and give him that little bunker there.
I was laughing the whole way my truck was flying towards the wall. So I was enjoying it, and Garrett was like, "I'm so sorry," and I was like, "No, dude."
That
So
was such a cool moment. I loved it. Obviously being teammates in that season, and me and Garrett, good friends also. I didn't find out about the tire situation until a couple days after the race. Me and Garrett were sitting in a call together, and he goes, "You know, it should have been you should have been fourth because we were talking about the race." And I was like, "Yeah, I finished third at my home race. That was cool." And he goes, "Well, you should have finished fourth." And I was like, "What do you mean I should have finished fourth?" And he told me that he had fresh tires too. And it's like, dang, I kind of wanted to see that.
Yeah, so
so
and I actually after that race, just because I had to justify it in my own mind because I was I was like, man, what if? You're always gonna have that what if when you know you got the speed. It's the perfect moment set up. I knew how it finished. I knew Paul basically paced the field on that last restart. I'm sitting there with the same exact set of tires he has. Felt like I had this at least, you know, good enough speed to maintain. So I'm sitting there going, what if, what if, what if? So, and I start going back and I start watching my lap times after I got wrecked, and then also that one lap before. I'm going, man, my lap times are actually pretty good. Now, I'll be honest, some of that I was passing people. I'll get a little bit of a draft, some that improves your lap times, obviously. I'm sitting there going, I had race winning speed. So yeah, I mean it. I still contend that it should have been Paul and I racing to the line, and if he wins, that's fine. I'm happy for Paul. I'm happy for Paul that he did win. It would have been an awesome moment to have us two battling it out
yeah,
side by side, though.
so in that, what I had going for me is I had Carson and John in front of me, and they were on the high. I think y'all were on the high side with me, wasn't you?
Something like that. I think I was running like, sorry, my cat's behind me annoying the living crap out of me right now. I was running like middle to bottom, and I should have been running a little higher, little older tires, tried to just carry
Yeah.
the momentum more.
Well, I just know that when
Yeah.
we hit that restart, I was on the high side, and so that was one thing I had going. And I told them, I said, guys, I'm putting this on the high side. Don't block me. I'm not letting off the gas
Yep.
because I could run almost 10 laps wide open without even messing with it.
He said
And
I'm not lifting one bit, and he didn't.
yep. And so I kept it matted. And once I got to about almost a 2-second lead, then I started breathing it just a little bit, just to be sure
Well,
I
and
made it around the turns.
I mean, honestly, the way that race was, I don't think it mattered. I mean, when you were on fresh tires, especially after a lap and you got wound up, it didn't matter if they tried to block you. You could just fly by them. I mean, if they
Yeah.
Yeah.
tried to block low, you go high. If they try to block high, you just go low. They're not slowing you down enough. I know I was passing people after trying to make my way back up through the field. Man, I was passing people like they were running in
Yeah.
third gear. I mean,
Yeah.
it was insane.
I come off turn 4 and I was probably 5 car lengths behind Carson. And he saw me coming, so he started to move up because I was so far behind. Then he realized how fast I was closing, so he yanked it back down real quick. And I
Yeah.
passed him before the start and finish line,
Yeah.
carrying some speed.
Even on the old tires, if you get in somebody's draft, you could blow by them if you got a good run off the corner. But yeah, those fresh tires, you don't really think about at a 2 mile track like that. You don't think about how much the tire wear affects you, especially once you get spread out. But once you get in close quarters on a restart like that, it's like, dang, you really realize how important those fresh tires are. And
Yep.
Paul's that guy that's always off strategy with everybody else and has an extra set.
Sometimes it works.
Always.
Hey, when it works, man,
It
you're hard to
works.
beat.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that hurts me the most is I'm one of those guys, everybody talks about you'll see me at the end of the run starting to pass people. So that's something I've worked on this season because I felt like I was saving too much sometimes and hurting myself because I'd get back in the riffraff. So this season I've made it more of a focus to start the race out strong and just kind of maintain it, not take it as easy.
Yeah,
So
that's something I picked up big time being your teammate in season one, and I really tried to. I worked really hard on mimicking of yours was saving tires, uh, especially early in the run because I feel like it gives you so much more later in the run. But I think I kind of fell into a similar trap where I was saving too much,
yeah,
and it's definitely hard to find that balance.
yeah,
Well, and I'll also say this season's been a little bit different too because of the group. Season two, man, you got back there with the squirrels, you get your nuts busted. There
yeah,
was there was some sure enough guys that you had to watch out for on track.
Yep.
Shout out to Colin Bowden for that quote.
I
By
was
the
gonna
way.
say you put that in the group chat earlier
Um,
today.
yeah, he said that after the Coke Series race, I think 2 weeks ago, and yeah, I liked it, so I used it. Um, but yeah, no. All kidding aside, I mean, you had to watch out for some guys. But the group we've got now, or we've had all of season three for the most part, minus a few that have gone or come and gone or whatever, this season. Um, I mean, right now, we jump on the track. I'm racing. It don't matter whether it's lap one or lap 101. I'm confident that no matter who I'm beside, I'm going to get raced clean, um, regardless of the track. And I think knowing that, uh, it helps a lot because in the past, and there's numerous people that tell you, I I won't, I'm not as aggressive as I should be. I give up a lot because I don't want to wreck somebody or I don't want to get wrecked. This is a little bit different. I put the truck in places I normally wouldn't have in the past, and it's paid a lot of dividends this year. Now, there's also been two races where I run a little bit more aggressive line, and it's cost me. So, but that's part of it. That's racing.
Yeah, I will echo that sentiment. I think it really clicked for me in the middle of last season. I started trying to push the envelope a little bit here and a little bit there on how aggressive I could be. And I mean, this season, I think we've all turned it up a notch. Like everybody, I mean, Flinky included. He started it at Texas at the end of last year. I've never had. I hadn't been around him very much, and I was sick and qualified poorly. But it was so much fun racing him. He's such a clean driver for such a young kid, and but man, he turned the wick up late last season with the aggressiveness, and it's cool to see because I think we're all extremely talented, and we all know what the truck's gonna do at this point. That we can put it in places where, last season, which would have, 4 6 months ago, we'd have been really uncomfortable doing, and we probably wouldn't have done it. And now
Well,
we're doing whatever we can.
it's not just aggressiveness either though. There's times like you're running a short track. Do you want to go in side by side with somebody? Um, are you going to trust them to hold the line? It's not necessarily aggressiveness. It's just in the past, I back out. I give up that position instead of even trying to contest it. And that's not me putting it in aggressively. It's just maintaining my line.
Right.
With the current group we've got, man, I'll put it up there. Even at Darlington, there were numerous times where I'm like, just go. I'll hold the top line. I'm not going to hit you. Just go below me.
Yeah,
And
talking about
there were some people that would, and some that were like, no, I'll just wait. And it's like, well, I mean, that's going to hurt you. I'll hold my line, and I was putting it under people. I was like, I expect them to hold their line. We've got a good group. So it's not always the aggressiveness; it's just the trust.
yeah, like season 2 at Pocono, I did not trust myself. I didn't feel comfortable running it. And at the end of the race there, I was like, I got to make up positions. And so me and Garrett running down the backstretch, and we wrecked. And I was just destroyed. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we wrecked. I don't know what happened. Did I turn late? Was I too focused on it or what? And it ended up being, I think it was net code, wasn't it?
Dude, it was like we exited turn one, and we were a foot apart, and we
Yeah.
rode a foot apart all the way down that straight going into the tunnel turn. And right before we went to the tunnel turn entrance, Netco just popped us. And I don't know why it chose then to do it. I mean, the distance between our trucks never changed. We were
Yeah.
literally side by side, could have reached out the window and shook your hand. And then all of a sudden, it's
We
just
spun.
like we weren't even into the corner. We were still on the straightaway.
Yeah.
I spun across his nose to the inside wall before the turn. But for some reason, man, Netco popped us. And it
And
was like,
I felt
man,
so bad after that. I actually lost like 4 positions at the end of the race because Nathan got behind me, and I was like, I'm not wrecking Nathan. He was bad. He was trying to win his championship
oh,
again,
and,
and
and I was
so
sitting
I
there and
let
I
out
was
of it.
like, Paul, that wasn't your fault, man. It was, and I was trying to take blame for it too. Paul felt bad, I felt bad, but that race, that was one of the ones that kind of broke my heart in season two
Yeah.
because that was the first race where I started middle of the pack, drove to the front, led laps, and maintained in the front, and then it all fell apart for me. But that's how racing goes. But that race is actually what gave me confidence that I could run in this league. and keep up and be competitive.
Yeah, I
So
was. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're all good.
I wanted to bring up Pocono and I had forgotten it, but I had remembered it just before you started talking about it. Um, Pocono, I struggled at Pocono, and I was watching the practice sessions, and Garrett's name's up at the top, up at the top, up at the top. And then I don't remember who it was that came across the radio, but they go, "Man, Garrett just blew by me, and he's going to the front." And I was like, "Let's go!" Like finally, me and Garrett had a little bit of a rivalry in season one. I got my rear end beat with the neck brace at Bristol. Uh, that got him sent to the slammer for the night, and he had to miss the Bristol race. But you know, same situation. Me and Garrett are really good friends, and I was so happy. I was like, yes, let's go! Finally, Garrett's up at the front. I was super excited, and then somebody goes, "Oh, he just smoked the wall," and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Or maybe I heard it on Nathan's stream. That might have been what it was, because you hit the
So
wall coming
all,
out of
all I did was scrub the wall. It wasn't a
yeah,
hard hit or anything. I think I may have said it. It was like, just hit the wall, blah blah blah.
yeah,
It took just enough off my truck to where I wasn't going to win that race. I still had the top five truck though. I
right,
felt like I it didn't hurt me enough to where I was dropping positions, but it hurt me enough to where those two or three guys that were obviously faster than everyone else, they got back by me. And I was going to be competing for a top 10 from that top 5 to top 10 position on track. Yeah, man, that race, man, that's another one of those that was just like, what if?
yeah. Um, something else I think we gotta talk to the viewers about Garrett. What does turkey sandwich mean to you?
Turkey sandwich, John, turkey sandwich. So, yeah, turkey sandwich. I asked John, we had our little rivalry going on, and I told him I had a little gift to give him, ask him what he might want. He told me turkey sandwich. So, showed up for Texas, final race of season 2, in a truck that had a turkey sandwich on the front bumper. I had every intention of giving him that turkey sandwich. Cards didn't play out in my favor, and
Yeah, I think that's in the intro of
John
this.
got away. John got away clean. So, I still need to give you that turkey sandwich. Maybe when we're not on affiliated teams in the future, I can cash in my turkey sandwich.
Yeah, there is one of my. I think I still have it saved. There's an awesome screenshot of an accidental contact at Oxford Plains in a pro-am where Pat McAfee punting a football may or may not have been on my front bumper, and Garrett's name might or may not have also been there too, because of the rivalry. And it was accidental at that point, but it made for a great picture and added on to the crap we had started. So it makes it even funnier that we're teammates now. I go from being with the sportsman of the year to the most improved, and he still wants
My
to fight
ass,
me. He still wants to fight me.
most
Uh,
improved. My ass.
I would definitely say you from the beginning of the season to the end. I can't think of many people that improved more than you did in season 2, and I'm really excited to see who gets it in season 3, because my vote in season 2, I'll out myself, was Kyle Dumig. Kyle improved hugely. I mean, and that's a guy, you tell him to do something and he'll try it. I mean, you could tell him, hey, hit the wall, you'll gain 10 miles an hour, and he'll do it just to try it. He's so willing to learn. Obviously, I'm not going to tell him to drive into the wall, but
Well,
Paul,
and I'll even say, if you had asked me who was deserving of being on the ballot in season 2, I wouldn't have named myself. Um, I won it, but I feel like this season I've shown more improvement than I did in season 2. My season 2, I mean, I finished 13th in points. Yeah, I showed up in a few races, but hell, who don't? I had some bad races. I had some actual like I didn't show up races. This season three, I feel like every track outside of Darlington, um, you've had to beat me. And I'm not saying for the win. I'm just saying like I was going to be top five, top 10, and you were going to have to outdrive me. And I stand by that. I think the record will show that. The results will show that. And I would actually say this has been more of an improvement from season two to season three for me than it was throughout season two. Um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that have exponentially gotten better since I've been in the league in season two and now in season three. And that, I think as a league, we've gotten better. There are individuals that have just absolutely skyrocketed by running with us and being in the league. And it's good. It's great to see. I wish we could recognize all of those guys because there's a lot of people that deserve that award.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think I was gonna say something similar along the lines of as good as you got during season two. I think the between season two to season three, the jump was even bigger. And I mean, you set the tone right off the bat in Milwaukee. Uh, Paul, I don't think anybody can beat you for Sportsman of the Year. That's no offense to anybody in the league. Garrett obviously took himself out of the running when he tried to beat me up last year. Uh, but you're not gonna find a cooler person or a better person to race around on the track that's more gentlemanlike than Mr. Paul Ellison.
Well, I actually sent a message to him earlier. I'm not going to be in the running of it this year
Okay, Bill Elliott. Why? Oh, sorry, did I say that out
because
loud?
I just think Sportsman of the Year is one of those things that once you win it, you kind of need to step back from it for a few seasons. That way, character is rewarded more than just the same person over and over again. Because I mean, you know, people could say because I host the practices, oh, that gets it right there. Well, I don't. That's not what I want. So I want, I guess you could say it's in the sportsman sense of the word. I want more people to get recognized. So
Um, to the very core of it, honestly.
So, well, one thing I'll say about that award, when I think about that award, to me, I understand the verbiage of Sportsman of the Year, but I relate that more to what the NFL has the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. That's kind of what I view that award as. Paul, whether you're in the running for it or not, you're deserving of that award. You're one of the best
thank you.
people I know.
Yeah.
I respect you a lot. I look up to you a lot.
Appreciate it.
And you having said what you said, man, that's not many people are willing to do that. It'd
It's
be
something I've been thinking about all season. I wanted to already have said it, but I just hadn't yet.
well, that takes character. It's character to want to see other people be rewarded when you yourself could be rewarded. Um, and that I respect that a lot, and that's awesome, man. It really is. And there are some other guys in the league for sure. That's not to
Yep.
discredit them. There are some guys in this league that absolutely deserve for
Yes.
their character and their what they do off the track, on the track, the person they are. That needs to be rewarded,
Yeah.
and it's it's going to be cool to see whoever gets it this year with Paul taking his name off. Whoever does get that award, I'm gonna be very happy for him because there's a lot of guys that deserve that.
The Paul Ellison Man of Venom, I think is what we should call
No.
it. Okay.
Mr. Merv Turner was the first one to win it. So
Yeah. The I'll figure something out. I think it needs a cooler name than Sportsman of the Year. Gentleman. I don't know. We'll think of it.
Gentleman
Um,
of the Year.
Gentleman of the Year. Gentleman of the Season.
Yeah.
So the reason I have you guys on, as much as I like you and I enjoy talking to you, I do. I enjoy every conversation we have. This week, obviously, we talked about it at the top of the show. The Golden Eagle Syrup Red Diamond Pride of Alabama, 65 at Talladega. I guess we'll start it off before we talk about our race. What's a fond memory you guys have of Dega being your home track?
So I'll just go ahead and out myself and my age to people that don't know. 1988 was my first race. I was 8 years old, and Ken Schrader won it. Uh, If you want me to tell you about memories, I started thinking about the other day, and I have been to probably around 50 or so Talladega races. So, because I have not missed a spring or fall race until this past year for personal reasons, since 2004 or 2005. So,
Damn.
and before then, I was going, every other year or so whenever I could get tickets. Um, so you want me to bring up a memory? I mean, I can remember Ken Schrader flipping down the backstretch, watching his hood come up over the RVs and down there. Um, I really think it was my first race that I went to. My granddad was a retired state trooper dispatcher, and so here I am, a little 8-year-old, hopping the back of a state trooper's car, getting driven on the back of the grandstands when it was still a dirt road, all the way up behind the grandstands. There was only 2 towers, uh, and getting driven to our seats in the back of a state trooper car and getting out and sitting in the grandstands. So that one, or the lady that kept yelling for Bill Elliott every single lap in her bikini, jumping up and down in front of me. One of those two.
How old were you when that one happened? 12?
I was probably about 12 or 13 on that one. So, go
Yep.
Bill! He even wrecked out. It was when he was driving the '94 McDonald's car. He even got wrecked out in the race, and she was so drunk, she kept yelling for him every lap. And my dad was
That's
probably like,
awesome.
"Lady, he's out of the race."
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yep.
That place gets wild, man. Especially if he spins it out.
Oh,
Race.
Yes, race.
Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski.
Oh.
Girl I went to school with ended up having to have some pretty major plastic surgery done because she got hit by debris.
so you knew her.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, I was not in the debris field there. I was at the race, but I was nowhere near where it happened. But
Yeah.
that was wild to see live. It's probably the craziest thing I've ever seen at a racetrack live.
Did the place go silent when he went upside down? Like it was it one of
Oh
those
no,
moments?
dude! They went crazy. The place
Really?
it was going insane, dude. People love wrecks.
When
They
you're
saw
watching,
a smoke and a car flip, and people went nuts. And
Yeah.
then after it happened, everything stops. People realize the severity of the situation. You could have heard a pin drop.
Yeah.
But
That's
until then, man, that place, that's the loudest I'd ever heard.
wow.
it
That's
happens
nuts.
so when they start flipping that Talladega, it happens so fast. Nobody has time to get quiet until afterwards. Like when Scott Riggs flipped across the start and finish line, I was watching him upside down in front of me, flying through the air, and then I could see, I think it was Matt Kenseth that just about hit him while he was flipping. I stood there and watched his car sliding towards him. So,
Ooh.
I mean, everybody's loud and cheering. All of a sudden, everybody just gets quiet. And then when you see the window net go down, everybody goes back to yelling.
That's
So,
nuts.
The
Well,
other part is anytime Kyle Busch wrecks out there and he drives by, everybody's yelling
oh,
at him, cussing him, giving him the bird, throwing stuff at him. That's
that
always fun too. If you're not a
y'all,
Kyle Busch fan, if you
do
are,
y'all,
it's probably still funny. It's just not as funny.
y'all remember? I think it was 2006 when Jeff Gordon beat Junior after he'd won so many in a row, when they
Oh God,
covered the racetrack with
oh
beer
my
the
cans.
God.
Pepsi car when he did
Yeah,
yeah.
I was not throwing any beer because I don't really drink, but I was covered in beer after that race because so many of them were flying over our heads.
Yeah,
It was a mess.
we were cussing Brad Keselowski out at the Michigan race after he dumped Austin Dillon. I'll still say he dumped him. It really wasn't that. It was a racing thing, but screw you, Brad. Uh, and he's from
I
Michigan.
don't think you have to worry about that. NASCAR's doing a good job of that.
Yeah, no
Yeah, oh
kidding.
my gosh.
Well, we at Venom definitely would have had the Talladega fans on their feet. The first half of the race was really calm, no cautions. Just your typical plate race, pretty much single filed out, except for David Fay, me, and a couple other people when they'd get up in that top line. And then, sorry, David, if you watch, kind of hung you out to dry once or
Not just
twice.
once. You hung
Twice.
him by
And he called you
himself
out on
one
it too.
time.
He did. That's why I jumped back up with him.
Yeah.
So I'm a bad person. What can I say?
Well, I also need to apologize
Yeah,
because
we'll
the first
get there.
caution,
We'll get there.
the first caution.
We have green flag pit stops. Surprisingly, second straight plate race, by the way, that we've had green flag pits. Well, third straight. Daytona had green flag stops too. Um, and then all heck broke loose. I think we got into 2 packs. It was the lead pack, which was Insert Coin, Broke Guy Racing, and Nathan. And then it was, I don't know if Paul was a part of our pack, but it was Super Kicking
So
RNS and
y'all
David
don't know
Fay.
that something happened there. Garrett, I think you messaged Ziddle pit now or something.
So y'all were behind me, or Zittle was. I saw Zittle
Yeah,
was directly behind me. We weren't going to call it our pit stop. So
right.
I type in a message and I say, going now. Just
Uh-huh.
one, so he would know, but also if y'all wanted to hang with us, that would be more trucks in a row to
Right.
help, get the momentum.
So our strategy, and we were doing like you could have seen the little formulas coming out of our head the whole first lap, the part of the race, because we're like, I think we might could do this on one stop. I really do. And me and Doomig were in the back, just kind of running 3/4 throttle the whole time because the draft on those trucks is so massive that you could just hang back there. And so me and him's watching it, and Ziddle ended up starting to let off the gas some too. And he was like, yeah, we can make it. We can make it a little bit past halfway. And so our plan was to stop the next lap just to give us an extra lap of fuel, hoping that if we got to racing hard, we'd be able to make it still. Because we are afraid when we started actually racing and drafting that we would burn up more fuel. So then he got that message and he dove to the pits with you. Well, he called it out so late that me and Doomig would have just wiped everybody out if we tried to pit. So me and Doomig went around a whole nother lap, hit
Oh
the pits,
no.
but we still come out on the track. We wasn't up there with the pack Ziddle was with, but we still come out right ahead of the other pack, so we blended right in with it. So it really didn't hurt us. And then the wreck happened.
Yeah, I came close to running out of gas. I think I hit pit road with half a lap of fuel left.
Yeah, so you had the least amount of gas for
Yep.
RNS.
Yep.
I
You bled a
was
lot.
Yeah, you were on the front line.
Yeah.
You were leading that top line for almost the entire first half of the race.
Yeah.
When we pit, I still had 4 laps of fuel. I could have went as long as I needed to. But obviously I didn't want to be left by myself out there.
Right. I was having a little fun being aggressive. I love placing, and I think last time at iRacing Super Speedway played it. I didn't want to get caught up in anything and played it a little too tentatively. And I know you and I talked about this, Garrett. We both were kind of like, yeah, we were too passive. Um,
Mhm.
that's why I did what I did racing. I ended up leading 9 laps. But yep, we're sitting there. Our little pack, we need to get lined up. And on lap 36, Garrett and David Fay come together. I watched the replay trying to figure out when all these cautions were, and just one of those things. We were trying to get David to get in line with us, and then I think he side drafted too aggressively, and the air got weird, and it looked like it just pulled you guys together,
Well,
something of that nature.
I was pushing Flinky pretty hard.
Right.
He was connected to the truck in front, so I couldn't really bump him too much. But I got hooked at where you're basically touching, but you're not actually hitting them. And I was in that real tight air. I had busted the bubble and I was on his bumper. We're going through the tri-oval. David kind of comes down and side drafts, and it just pulled the front of my truck up the track. And I take full. If I messaged David, told him, it's my bad. I messed up. Um, and I felt bad, but luckily, I don't think it damaged his truck too badly because I saw him later in the race, with speed, maintaining with the pack and all. So I
There's a
was happy
there's a
about that.
bump on the entrance of Trioval too that a lot of people don't realize is there. And if
Yeah.
you're not ready for it and you're drafting real close, it will catch you and you'll wash up just a little bit.
Yeah, I think we were actually just past that though. I think we were like
Okay.
middle of the tri-oval, like
Yeah.
where the
And,
traditional start finish line would be if it were Daytona or something.
and there's
We were like
another
middle of the tri.
there's another bump there in the middle too that's pretty aggressive, and that's why when I was leading, I asked Jeremy if I was doing an okay job leading because I kept hitting that bump and felt like I was getting way out of shape and making the whole field nervous. Um, so that happens. That bunches everybody back up, and we don't even really get to restart because green flag drops. Jan switches lane before the start finish line and gets hooked by his teammate Michael Kroll, and that puts us right back under yellow. And the first official red flag in Venom history because a former, I was going to try and make a joke about it being some former driver driving the pace car now. Andy's daughter was in the pace car. It was her birthday, so they let her drive the pace car. She was asleep at the wheel, taking a nap, partied too hard. Happy birthday to Andy's daughter.
Yeah.
So we have a red flag where we all get stopped. Finally get it going again. And I mean, they say cautions breed cautions, and I feel for the next one. A couple laps later, Kyle Zittel tried to fill a hole where Jeremy McKinnon's truck was, and I mean, credit to Zittel. I wanted to say it after the race. I'll say it now because Zittel and I have an interesting relationship. He did a hell of a job for a guy who couldn't hear anything that was going on the whole race because his headset came disconnected from his PC.
Yeah.
So
he lost sound and audio probably 5 laps in.
Yeah. So
It was early.
the fact he even got to lap 45, really damn impressive. So I'm, like I said, I'm impressed it took him that long to wreck the field. I figured it would have happened a lot earlier than that when he said he couldn't hear anything. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Love you, Zittel.
And honestly, I watched it back, after the race, and he couldn't hear a spotter.
Right.
Had he had a spotter, he never would have come down there because
Yep.
it would have said car inside. But he
He
had no
thought
idea.
he thought since Flinky had jumped up, he jumped up because there was nobody. He thought there was nobody behind him, so he was trying to catch a draft.
Yeah.
So whenever he went left, he didn't realize Jeremy was right there.
Yeah.
So.
But again, mad I don't know if I could have done it out of panicked or something and freaked out if I'd have been without a spotter or anything at a plate race like that. So
I 100% would have been riding around at the back with no sound. I would have just dropped and rode around because I would not have trusted myself to be in the pack. And that guy went up there and drove in the pack all night long.
Major.
He did a great job with it.
Major props to Zittel. So we get a green. I don't remember. We go green probably lap 48 or so, and we're good. Coming to lap 63, and I caused a caution.
Well, the Zittel Jeremy wreck's what took me out.
Oh, is it really? That's what got you?
Yeah.
You and Zittel crashed again?
But we didn't crash into each other this time.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So me and Dumig were riding around at the back, and just because I could watch everything, and I let qualifying determine what I was going to do, and I felt like I was insanely slow in qualifying. Then I realized there was really like only half a tenth between everybody, so it was like really tight. I was just way down the field. So I hear Zittel call out, "Oh my gosh!" when he did it, and so I let off the gas and started hitting the brakes. So I was watching him spin, and I was watching Flinky spin, and I was like waiting to see which way he's going to go. And right when I was about to turn it left, because I had the heads up, I was on the brakes quicker than Brantley was. Brantley hit me square in the back, and it kicked me to the right up the track, and it just sent me straight into Flinky at that point. And so I don't know how bad Brantley's damage was after that. I'm not sure how bad Flinky's was, but I hit right on the front of my truck where it's like the most tender spot, and it just killed the motor.
Yeah, the damage model on these is weird. It's not the same as it was with the old body style that they had out. And that was the first big one we had, lap 45. That's
where I got my damage too. Same rate. They spun in front of me. Zittel went across my nose, and Jeremy hit my nose. When they went across, they went back up the track. And I missed Zittel. I saw it happening, and I just lifted. And Zittel crossed just barely, by inches. And the right rear corner of Jeremy's truck clipped the right front of my nose. And it just pushed up the hood a little bit. I'm thinking, oh, it's not too bad. I go into the pits. I've got 2 minutes of damage. I'm like, it's optional. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's not too bad. Nope, I was about 5 mile an hour slow, and that it was terminal, man. Like
Wow.
on that next restart.
Yeah, just a little bit of
And
damage in that race was killing like 5 mile an hour for trucks. Because I think Brantley did say later that he felt like he was down 2 or 3 cylinders, and Zittel was could only run like 155 after that. And then Doomig was still running good, and then he got bumped later and did the same thing to his. He just couldn't go, and his bumps wasn't even didn't look that bad, but it killed the truck.
Yeah, I got lucky in that one. I ended up Nathan hung a left, and I guess he doored Jan, and I had to go through the grass at the bottom, turns 1 and 2, and got through that one. I don't know how. I managed to not hit anything in that one, and I managed to not hit anything in the David Fay wreck because that happened in front of me. And Vyers was the truck between us, Garrett, and he ended up with damage, and I somehow
yeah,
didn't.
I think he hit David when David come across my nose.
So yeah, I was dodging bullets, but the cat's only got 9 lives. And lap 63, another big one caused by yours truly. I thought I let out of the. I went when I watched the replay. I watched it a couple times and I didn't get out of the gas as much as I thought I did, and caused a wreck with 2 to go, like an idiot. Was
On
pushing
a teammate.
On a teammate, pushing another teammate. Sorry, Eric. It was Greg Elliott, Eric, me, and then I think Nathan was behind us, or Andy. I think we got lined up by that point. It was 4 R&S trucks. I think Brandon Byers was.
Y'all were 3 wide.
Is that when we were 3
That's when
wide?
y'all were 3 wide because
Okay.
I went a lap down. Y'all lapped me, and I had to go down to the apron on the backstretch
Oh,
with everybody
yeah.
go.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, we were 3 wide. Andy had moved up to get lined up with Paul Sargent all the way up against the wall. It was RNS super kick in the middle, and then it was basically insert coin on the inside line. Man, that's gonna make for a hell of a picture when I go back and find it. But yeah, I ran Eric over. Got way too
Which
aggressive.
was my saving grace, by the way, because I was the lucky dog. Got back on the lead lap.
Yeah, you're welcome. Too bad I killed the teammate.
That.
I killed the teammate doing it. So we get a green-white checker. And oh boy, things get turned on their head. Cole Maxwell is in the lead when the caution comes out. Or he ends up being in the lead for the green-white checker. He's being pushed by Carson. And Carson turns him in the corner. Cole was a little high and got his bumper swiped by Carson. He was too high in the corner, comes down.
Oh, you meant on the track.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you?
He'll get that.
So Cole gets turned by Carson. Gotta gather myself. I'm supposed to be professional here. Come on, man.
After what I saw last week, professionalism's gone, brother. Let's have a good time.
Yeah, it is. To hell with it. It's gone. Cole gets himself turned. Carson turns him. However, it depends on who's watching on what day and how they see it. And to me, it just Cole was a little out of line and got turned. I mean, it happens.
These trucks are so temperamental. If you push in the corner, you've got to be in the exact perfect spot. The truck up front has to maintain. Truck behind can't move. And they're racing in a pack. End of a race. Adrenaline's pumping. It's hard to do that, and it was a racing mistake. I mean, it happens every race. It happens in real life. Happens in the sim. Every time somebody gets in that position, somebody gets spun. It was unfortunate though, because I felt like Cole ran a really good race, man. He was going to contend for win number 1.
Yeah, Cole. If Cole doesn't get turned there, I'm pretty certain he gets win number 1. That was coming to the white, so that was our first green-white checkered attempt. We get 3 in Venom. We only needed 2, and I was running third Well, I was running fourth when the wreck happened and was essentially handed third place for the restart. In a situation I don't really want to talk about. And got lined up behind teammate Greg Elliott. Carson is lined up in P2 with, I believe, I want to say Jan or Michael Dean behind him on the restart. I should have looked at it because that's important.
I think it was Michael.
I think
I'm
it was
pretty sure
too.
it was Michael.
Pretty sure it was. So we have we have Superkick lined up against Insert Coin. And Carson is a truck length in front of Greg when the green flag drops. Me and Greg are sitting there talking. I was like, hey man, just count me down. I'll give you a good push and we'll set sail and we'll get this deal done. And he goes, no, we're going to wait till the green flag and see what happens. I was like, that's a good idea too. And then next thing I know, Carson's pulling down in front of him and he's going, well, there's no way that should happen. He was way ahead of me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, Carson got a hell of a restart. That was pretty impressive. I'm pretty sure I had Greg's back tires lifted off the ground too, which probably didn't help. I think I hit him twice. Well, I tried to anticipate the green, and it wasn't where I thought it was. I hadn't that far up in the pack for a restart. So first lap plays out pretty calmly. Coming down the backstretch, I see that top line have a run. Michael Dean's at the point of it. I had messaged Michael Dean before the first green-white checker, and I said, hey, if we get hooked up here, let's make it happen, because, going back in the Rolodex a little bit, he was a part of the incident with Carson at Bristol, and he messaged me afterwards apologizing when it wasn't his fault, and he said, I'll push you to win at a plate track. I'm sitting here thinking, I got my win last week. Let's get Michael Dean one. If we get hooked up, I'm going to push him to a win. Well, I got a little greedy and jump up in front of him on the top line. And coming to the white, 2 truck leads. And Carson is still leading on the inside line. And coming out of turn 2, all hell breaks loose because I can't hold the steering wheel straight. I take out my teammate and 3/4 of the field. Let's go. I had my Nathan Reynolds at Bristol moment. Yay. I gotta take a shot every chance I get, man. He doesn't mess up very often. But yeah, same situation as Cole. Just got a little high, and Michael Dean was a little aggressive. And if I could have held a prettier wheel, we'd have been through it okay. But he got me on the left side of the bumper.
I'm glad you didn't, man. I was running back there in 15th, barely hanging on to the field. I mean, I really couldn't even maintain the draft. Like, I had to have somebody almost laying back to help me get up to speed. And when there was like 6 cars wrecked, I just rode by them, man. I went from 15th to 7th.
You couldn't have given me a push? I should have waited until everybody... Man. I should have waited... Well, we'll get to it. So I blow up end of my race. I should have waited for everybody to cross the start-finish line to get a push. See if I could have finished on the lead lap. But then we have a 4-car breakaway, and I missed all this because I was watching the replay of me wrecking myself. We have Michael Dean, Andy Policky, Nathan Reynolds, and Carson. Oh boy, it's gonna get spicy. Carson gets left out to dry. Andy, Nathan go with Michael Dean, and Carson tucks up behind him going into turn 3. Michael Dean is in the lead coming out of turn 4. Andy pulls out, getting ready to go into the tri-oval. Carson goes with him, which is a shocker because Carson is... I think me and Michael Dean talked about it. I don't know if it was said or not. I guess Carson is running with Insert Coin right now as a part of their...
Yeah, they're affiliated.
Affiliation. So Carson goes with Andy to the outside. And then Carson tries to go around Andy, which leads to Andy pinching Carson into the wall coming to the line. And Michael Dean follows him up, and I am screaming the whole way because by this point I have turned to live action and I'm watching this all happen, and I am screaming at Nathan. I go, Nathan, just start pushing him! Just push him to the win! And Andy wins by 0-0 on iRacing because it only goes to 3 decimal points. I don't know how close it was. It is a literal photo finish. The best frame of the shot is not caught by iRacing. It has them that far in front of the start-finish line, and then it has their bumpers over the start-finish line, and they're dead even in both of them.
Yep. The bottom of Andy's windshield is the only thing I could see that shows that he was ahead.
And Andy Policky picks up another win. I think that's like his 4th of the season. It's his 3rd of the season. I can't count.
Yeah, 3rd.
Look, I wanted Dean to win. It would have been his first win. But I'll be honest, man. Andy needed that.
Yep.
He needed that. This points chase, it's going to be a good finish here now, I believe. I think Andy's really good at short tracks. He'll show up at North Wilkesboro. He'll have a decent finish, I imagine. We're going to go into the championship race with a championship battle on our hands.
I'm pumped. I did not realize how close we are to the end of the season. Garrett alluded to it. We have the car inside 150 presented by YouTube at North Wilkesboro, 150 laps. It's an interesting track. It's going to be tough to get around. I think there's going to be some guys that struggle. It's going to be hot and slick, and Paul is loving it, I'm sure, because Paul likes to slide around a lot. I've been having fun. I wish I could. I think I turned like a 35 lap session earlier. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Boys, what are we thinking going into this week after the chaos that was Talladega? And now, I don't remember what it is with the drop race. It was all explained to me, but I'm not very bright, so I already forgot.
But the drop race is the lowest point
I know how
total for a race is going to be dropped. So
right.
I was figuring out the other day, just to tell you, Ryan has done so freaking good this season. His drop race is going to be a 30-pointer. Wow. 7th place is his lowest finish.
I thought Talladega he finished 9th.
I think 9th place is his lowest finish.
9th.
Okay, maybe it's 9th place. Why did I have?
Right now, without the drop race, we'll have it all figured out when we go to Homestead. But right now it sits at 45
after
points.
After the penalties, he moved up.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. After the penalties, it made it because Talladega is his drop race and it's 30 points, and I know from finishing 7th so many times that's 7th place points.
4 times, by the way, Paul.
Yeah. So his is going to be a 30-point drop. Where Andy is going to be dropping a 16-point race. So Andy gains Andy gains 14 points off of that. Off that drop race.
It's really like a 31-point gap then.
Yeah, it's going to be stuff like that.
Heading into Wilkesboro. If it's, I think Ryan said if it's more than 26, he doesn't even have to start the engine at Homestead. Oh man, it is gonna get wild if it's those two up front this week. In the closing stages.
And the thing we found in practice earlier was tires are going to make a difference. You can almost go the whole race on a tank of gas. So tires are going to be the big factor. But if you have old tires and you run the high line, you can hold up with somebody on new tires on the low line because you really hinder them getting off the corner, which me and Garrett kind of played with that a little bit.
Newer tires. If they're on brand new tires,
if they're brand new tires, you ain't got a chance. Yeah,
if they've got 10, 15 laps on them, you can give them heck from that top line. And if they're 20-plus lap old tires, ain't going to be no passing.
It's just, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be hard to pass. I think it's going to be good old fashioned short track racing, and I'm pumped.
And since this won't come out until after, I won't be there Tuesday.
What?
Yep. I will be torturing myself fishing.
You're going fishing?
Oh wait, I got to get the story up. No, I have concussions.
You're going fishing
on the
with a concussion.
On the advice of Dale Jr. and Ryan Newman, I'm going to take a week off.
All right, so Paul, because of his multiple accidents,
Arlington and Talladega.
Do you have the same doctor I have, the Dr. Heimlich maneuver? Do you have him?
No, I don't know who my doctor was, but my manager, Turd Ferguson, is going to release a statement soon.
You better watch out. Garrett might come. I thought that was a bikini picture in your background, but it's just your chair.
Oh, mine or
No,
his?
Garrett's. Yeah, his background faded just enough that his like recliner showed up, and I thought it was like I don't know what I thought it was. I'm losing my mind
Uh
clearly.
huh.
Um,
So yeah, I'm hoping that there's a stream I can watch Tuesday night because I will be
uh,
glued to my phone.
I know where one will be. I know where two
Okay.
will be.
I figured you and Nathan probably, but I knew Ryan
Yeah,
was having trouble and he couldn't stream much. And I think
yeah.
Flinky gets to stream you too.
I think Flinky does too. I don't know. But I thought I wanted to go watch the Texas race from his perspective, and it wasn't there. Um, so what you? I mean, we're coming down to the end of the season. This is the last question I'll ask you guys, and then I'll let you go for the night. Coming down to it, what are the goals for the end of the year? Garrett, you sit in 7th place right now. 6 points behind Michael Dean for 6th, 7 points behind me for 5th, and 16 points behind Jeremy for 4th. Paul, you're 13th, 11 points behind your teammate Chad Stearns. Well, you're going to be missing a race, but I'm assuming that'll be your drop. So we'll know more when we get to
Yeah,
Homestead.
I'm still gonna take a pretty good hit from this because the points between God, this week it's really the points between Jan and 14th and maybe
Cole.
Garrett or yeah, at least well, let's see, Garrett's got 290. So Michael Crawl is still on 279. So really between 13th and 8th are so tight. I was sitting 10th in the points just to that bad Talladega race. I dropped to 13th. So it's so tight there. I'm gonna lose a lot of places.
Yeah, one slip up this week, and I could be 7th in points.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this season, oh, even last season, counting Dover and some other places, I usually perform well at short tracks. Um, Milwaukee, RP, um, Dover last year, towards the end of the season, have kind of figured out short tracks, and I feel pretty good at North Wilkesboro also. Um, my main goal though is to survive, be there at the end of the race. I want a top 10. Top 5 would be amazing. Compete for a win would be race of a lifetime. Um, but yeah, I mean, I said before the season, I think top 10 in points. I want to prove that. Mid-season, man, the way this season's gone, top 5 is the goal. You're the one sitting there, John, and you are a teammate. If you beat me for it, hey, I'm happy with that. I'd be happy to see you up there. But personal goal, I'd like to see top 5. If it don't happen, that's fine. So for North Wilkesboro, I've got to have a good race because I'm not very good at the mile and a half tracks. I can get out there and I can run, but yet to finish Texas. Both races we've run there that I've been a part of, I've been wrecked out of. Um, Kentucky, I was damaged. I mean, I finished second, but I had a damaged truck. You name it, I wrecked at it. So I need a really good North Wilkesboro and pray Homestead goes clean for me uh, to achieve that goal.
What are we looking at? I'm obviously missing this week, but going to Homestead, what are your goals? I guess for the last race of the season.
So going back to season 1, the last time we were at Homestead, that was when I kind of put my name out there and people got attention because I finished second out of the blue. Like watching Nathan stream, he's like, "Who finished second?" Oh, Paul. You know. So uh, I have a line I run at Homestead that I like. It doesn't always seem like it's the fastest, but it plays out at the end. Um, I don't know how this race is going to go compared to that first season because the strategy kind of caught people off guard on what would work and what wouldn't. So I have high hopes for Homestead. Uh, I think Andy is going to be very tough, and of course Ryan will be. Ryan will have it figured out by then. But Andy was going to be really tough that first season and looped it on turn 1, lap 1. Uh, but yeah, so Homestead, if I don't finish top 5, I'll be a little upset.
I'm,
So I'm definitely looking for my top 5 at Homestead.
I'm a dirt track it the whole time. Whatever happens, happens.
Go right ahead. I'll watch. I'll wave when I pass you.
Yeah. You got to catch me first. I'm just kidding. I don't know what's gonna happen. I want to get through this week clean, and I want to get to Homestead clean. That's my goal. Whatever happens, happens. I'll let it all shake out, but once we get in the race, I'll start to figure out what my goal is going to be that week. But I just want to get through this week clean. I have a feeling it could end up like Bristol. It could end up like Milwaukee, Caution Fest, or it could be like IRP, which wasn't that bad, but I wasn't there for like half the race because I wrecked early and quit. So who knows? Hopefully it goes well. I'm excited. I would like a nice clean race. That's all I want. I'm not gonna ask for much more than that. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you guys for being on. I appreciate it. Obviously it's a little late. I wanted to try and get some sleep before my day off, but this is way more fun. Thanks for spending an hour with me, fellas. I know you guys have stuff going on in your personal lives, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Little reprieve from real life is always nice.
Oh yeah. Any last words you guys want to say? Anything you guys want to get off your chest before we get over to victory lane with Mr. Nathan Reynolds?
Paul?
Go ahead, Garrett.
Oh, yeah. Just, I enjoyed being on here. Appreciate you having me. I enjoyed racing, man. It's been a blast. This season's had its ups and downs, but we're gonna have a really, really fun racing league going forward. Get some new guys in here for next season, man. It's time to rack them and stack them one more time.
Yeah, I'm real excited for next season. We're going to have a little bit longer season. It's going to be structured a little different. The way the race is going to be broke down. I'm really excited for it. I know we struggle with short tracks, but there's going to be a few more short tracks on it next year, and I think it's going to be a little fun. I don't like short tracks, but it makes it fun. So.
Well, once again, thank you guys for coming on and spending time with me away from your families or other more fun stuff than listening to me ramble and say stupid stuff for an hour. Thank you.
I think my dog will be okay.
I think.
My kids, obviously, y'all heard my 2-year-old screaming earlier. He wanted gummies, and my wife told him he could have chicken or chips. He wasn't having that. He wanted gummies. So, like I said, this is a nice reprieve from that. But yeah, man, it's been fun. Always is. Anytime you ask me, man, I'm gonna be right here.
Heck yeah, that's what I like to hear. It is what I like to hear. But yeah, that's all I've got. I'm gonna send it over to Nathan down in Victory Lane with Mr. Andy Policky, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, have a good.
Y'all have a good one.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching Venom Victory Lane. Here we are with the Talladega race winner, race number 11 of 13 here in Season 3 of the Venom Truck Series League, Andy Policky. Andy only led one lap in that race, but it was the most important lap, and we have him here for an interview for a little Victory Lane segment. Andy, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. Pretty exhausted. It's been a long day, but been a long weekend full of racing.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of
you and Cole, man. That
was pretty wild. I think by the end of it, I think I run 7 hours 10 minutes, 777 miles, and like 210 laps.
Lord.
Yeah, but tonight's about you. I'll just get started with the questions that I have. Got my little cue card here again, and I just want to know what was your mindset leading into that race?
I just wanted to have a good race, good clean race, make it to the finish, try to complete every lap I could. Near the end, after getting through a couple wrecks, I was trying to position myself for the best finish possible. I unfortunately lost my teammates in wrecks, so kind of had to position myself in between a couple teams and try to figure out best strategy possible. and it just kind of all fell into place.
Yeah, Talladega is one of those where it's just all about survival, especially going into it. I know that was something that Ryan talked about a lot throughout the week, was just wanting to survive that race, more or less just be on your bumper at the end. I know it didn't quite work out that way, but just survival and trying to manage that points gap. Was that something on your mind going into the race?
I was in a little different position than Ryan. Ryan really just needed to, what he did, survive and manage a points gap. I knew to be able to gain on him, I had to try to maximize anything I could. So right from the start, I had some issues in qualifying, but right from the start, I tried to get up front, try to position myself where I was going to be at least close to the front, where I thought would be away from some of the any issues. My team, we had a different strategy than most, to try to position ourselves at the front at the end, and if it went green, we would have done that. So
yeah, it was you had a seemed like a two-stop strategy when everybody else had a one-stop strategy. Was that something that you wanted to do from the start, or was that just kind of a component of Jeremy leading and using up more fuel than everybody else and having to kind of force your hand into going to two-stop?
honestly, looking at it, I was thinking it was going to be a two-stop for everybody, no matter what. I use like VRS to help calculate fuel, or at least to see what a fuel run would do. And it only showed 29 laps. And so I didn't think anybody could save 6 laps of fuel even in the draft to make it work and maintain speed. So really, we backed up what we were going to try to do. We were going to try to run the race backwards. So we were going to originally planning on pitting earlier, but Jeremy had a really bad feeling about it, so we went later. But I told him I still wanted to be the first team to pit. So
yeah, I think that the way I was looking, I followed him a lot, and it was showing me that I was going to be like a half lap or 1 lap to the good, but I wasn't using any apps or anything. That was just strictly off the iRacing, the overlay that gives you, and we know how inaccurate that can be.
yeah, it could be correct sometimes and then give you 2 laps short other times. So
with that being said, though, I mean, you don't know if people were going to actually be able to make it or not. Did that yellow flag that come out give you any like indication, a sigh of relief, or were you worried about getting grouped back up again? Because you were in a pretty good spot when it came out. You had me behind you, and I was going to be saving.
I think you were behind us. Jeremy was leading. I basically, after pit, I committed to Jeremy's bumper. I told him I'd be on his bumper the rest of the race. So we planned on, like I said, just 2-stopping it, no matter what. I think with the way the yellow came out, it worked well for us. But at the same time, I was kind of had in my mind who all pitted and watching how many people pitted and knowing that nobody went to 35 or 36. It was going to be, we should have been good no matter what.
Yeah, it was going to be interesting, that's for sure. I was definitely riding behind you guys, going to save. I think Insert Coin pitted 1 lap later than I did, so they'd have been in a better spot than I would have for sure. I feel like you had been battling them more so than you would have been me up there. If anybody was going to make it, it'd probably been them. But I don't know. That's one of those things we'll never know. You're not complaining. It worked out.
Yeah, they had a great strategy going in it. You could tell they really worked through their team strategy throughout the week because they were committed to each other the entire race.
Yeah, we tried to be, but pit stops kind of broke us up, and it's so hard to pit with that many people and get everybody out at the same time. It's very hard to do. That's the other thing
I like trying to pit first is you don't have to deal with a lot of people. We had, our team, just me and Jeremy, but we had Brantley with us, and Paul came back for a race. He was with us as well. And we, when we came out, we had all 4 trucks bumper to bumper, but Brantley was having some some computer issues, and it started to give him some frame rate stutter real bad, and he didn't want to wreck in the back of me or wreck off the front of Paul, so he backed off a little bit, and it kind of left Paul in a bad spot, unfortunately. So
I was wondering what happened to him. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, pitting early, it seems like if you pit later, to me, if you get staggered from your team, then you're at the back trying to catch, and you're basically just waiting for everybody to catch you. But if you get out front and pit early, and you get staggered, everybody the rear comes forward, and it kind of picks everybody up to the front. Yeah, so that makes sense. That's something that I've thought of myself, and that was kind of why I wanted to short pit, insert coin by a lap, and get ahead of them. That was kind of the same mindset I had there. But you mentioned earlier, Jeremy, he got taken out, right? He was in an
Jeremy
accident.
Got taken out
He was,
right after that caution, I think.
He just he limped around the rest of the race, didn't he?
Yeah, he had over 2 minutes of damage after that.
Yeah. So you said that you kind of put yourself in the right spot in the line of some people. Well, that group that you aligned with was probably, I guess, probably the biggest friendly rivalry that we have going right now in the league. That would be you guys and us at RNS and Superkick.
Oh yeah.
And that was all that was up top. It was all of RNS, Superkick, and Paul. I guess insert. Or Raging Moose, and then I guess he's part of your team in a sense now, I guess. So, yeah. So we had all the Fords up top working. What do you think there in that RNS sandwich at the time?
At that point, I really I was glad to be in line with some strong trucks. So I knew we could make stuff work if we could actually get organized. And we were just kind of biding our time. So I trusted everybody that was around me. I had a teammate 2 trucks behind me. So, if I wanted to make a move, I knew he was going to go with me whichever way I went. But at the same time, I seen John make a lot of time on the top early in the race, kind of whenever he wanted to. So I knew I was in a good place to kind of make moves forward at that point.
I felt like that was the place to be. That you wanted to be is up top. I'd actually made comments before to some of my team. I said, if we make the top work and we get out front, stay. Don't move down, because you're just going to allow somebody else to come back and do the same thing to you. I'm like, stay up top and control it up top. But it never really. It seemed like every time we'd start to get something working there late, we'd have a yellow or something would happen. And it just set up complete chaos.
Yeah. You had to have the right people up top, I think, working.
Yeah.
The draft, it's kind of a wild card, but at the same time, there's a way to work the draft really, really well. And the people that can do it, they can kind of move around as they see fit, really, and make time wherever, bottom top. But if you had enough people up there doing what you had to do to get speed, you could easily outrun anybody on the bottom.
Yeah, it seemed like you could. It seemed like every move that was made for the lead came up top, and people would drop down, and then next person. Like I said, it was just it was over and over. It seemed like deja vu, and so that's kind of why I kept saying that. But we did have had a
run. Me and Michael Dean made at the end. It started from the top, so
yeah. So we had a green white checkered. Let's see, who was that accident?
I don't remember.
Was that Eric? Was that the one for Eric?
Yeah, I think that was the one for Eric. He, I think he got spun off of John.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think that was what it was. Is he spun off of John, and then I doored Jan, gave him some damage. So that kind of crippled insert coin, and then Cole. Was Cole before that then? So Cole wrecked.
Cole was before that, I believe. So.
We had a little bit longer run, and then
Cole was before that, and then we had a little bit of a run, and then I think it was Eric.
Yeah,
but I don't remember off for sure. So.
I think it was just him that spun.
Yeah, I said I think he was up high, and I think John was trying to push him.
Yeah,
and he spun.
Yeah, and then that sets up the green white checkered, and then after that, it got wild on the last lap, and we had that final crash, and it seemed like the seas parted. Carson was out front, everybody behind him crashes, and the seas parted. It's just me, you, and Michael Dean that make it through there. And what are you thinking going down the back stretch there? Because It's kind of like deja vu. You got me behind
Yeah.
you at Talladega again.
Yep.
What were you thinking?
Going into that green white checkered, I knew Brantley had been able to communicate with Dean before, so I told him to reach out to Dean and told him, hey, tell Michael that I'm committed to his bumper up to the last lap. I knew that was my best shot of winning. So I didn't trust. Carson was having some connection issues. So I didn't trust being right behind him and him not blinking and causing some issues. So I knew I wanted to be behind Dean and push him at least to the white flag and probably up to 3 and 4. I knew you behind me. I didn't know which way you were going to go. I had a feeling though, but we worked really well together in the past. So,
Yeah.
I think I knew that 3 truck tandem there would work well. So, coming off the white flag, I was committed on Dean's bumper, and I think Carson moved up to block Dean. And I think Carson thought I was going to go high because Dean went low. He let Dean go low, and then I made a late move, and thankfully you left me a little bit of gap there.
I lifted. I actually lifted. I don't know why. But I did.
There was, I think even you not lifting, there was just a bit of a gap.
Yeah.
Even watching the replay, you can see I moved down and then was kind of timid a little bit to make sure you were clear before moving all the way behind Dean there. So we were able to get past Carson there, and coming out of 4, that's when I went to head and make my move around Dean. And when I went to the outside, I saw you come up right behind Dean, so I knew I was a sitting duck at that point.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Carson went to try to make a move to the outside. He was committed to try to win in the race himself.
Yeah.
But I made a late block on him, and it actually just worked out perfectly. It propelled me enough to get just a little bit past Dean right at the start finish.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I was moving up to help Dean, and because I wanted to see a first-time winner. I honestly didn't feel like at that point that I could have made a run in the moment to win the race. So I was just focused on getting to his bumper and trying to help him get one. And of course, my teammate's battling you for the point standing, so I was helping him too. And, that's no offense to you or anything. It's just it's how I felt in the moment. But looking back, we could have, the way he moved up, I don't think I would have won, but we would have been 3 wide for that, I think. And I probably lost by like half a truck or something. But
I think if you move down, I think he wins by half a truck between, and then me and you are basically tied.
Yeah. But he came up to side draft, and so he completely left my draft. And like the whole time I'm watching, I'm thinking like, man, no. And then he talked to me about it later, and he's like, I didn't realize he didn't even, it's just all happening so fast. But he just didn't realize in the moment that somebody was back there to try to help him. He was just focused on you and trying to side draft you, which would have been the smart move to make. I can't fault him for that. Just because you're not really going to be aware what's behind you,
Honestly, without the shot I had from Carson, that's the right move to make. You get a little bit of draft off of it, and he'll pull my truck by a quarter of a truck.
Right.
Like I said, the block that I put on Carson was so late that he had nothing to do but be able to push me.
Yeah.
And it pushed me so hard, it actually pushed me into the wall. We both kind of careened off the wall, but then he hit me again, which gave me just, like I said, another little push. So it just kind of worked out perfect in the moment.
Right, yeah. And I felt like you deserved that one. The way that I beat you the first year, there's no complaining about that one, because I felt like a thief taking that one the way that I did, and how that happened. So you definitely deserve to get one there at Talladega, and the way you did, to be another side-by-side finish, but at least this time you came out ahead. So it's definitely deserving. And
I don't know, I've won and lost so many so close, it's unreal. I think I've got 8 finishes were combined together probably less than 3/4 of a second.
Yeah, I forgot you had the
First or
Pocono one.
second.
That was really close.
Pocono, yeah, there was Pocono, there was Bristol, there's Talladega, there was this one. I don't remember the other ones, but there were several finishes where I was second by half a car, or first by half a car or so.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, and this was a special one for you. We've all had a lot of little moments here in this league as a big family, to where we run these races and do this all together each and every week, and we all have events and stuff that goes on in our lives. And it was your daughter's birthday, and you said you made her a promise going into the race.
I made her a promise. I actually didn't know that I was going to make this race, because going into the season, seeing that it was on her birthday, I was like, I don't know that I'm going to race that night. Depends on what she wants to do. If she wants to go, whatever she wants to do is what we're going to do, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. So,
Right.
If she wants to go out to eat, we're going out to eat, and the racing comes second. So
Right.
it's she's more important than it. But we were having kind of a long week, so it was just, my wife was tired, and my daughter, she didn't want to do anything, so we had a little piece of cake at our house, and told her I was going to race, and she was excited, and I said, I'm going to win this one for you. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to win this one for you. And she got really excited, and unfortunately she was asleep when I got done, but the next day, man, the look on her face when I told her I won on her birthday was priceless.
That's awesome. Is she close by?
Yeah. Abby, come here, babe. Here, let me put the headset on her.
Yeah.
Come here. Yeah. Here. You want to say hi to Nathan? Here, come here. Say hi.
No, get her to lean over into you so it's not blurring her out. All right, that looks good. Hey, how are you?
Good.
What's your name?
Abby.
Abby. And you had a birthday last week? How old you turn?
7.
7. Oh, that's awesome. What do you think about your dad winning on your birthday? Is that really cool?
What did you want for your birthday from me? You wanted a trophy? Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted a trophy? Oh, that's cool. I heard you had a big party yesterday. Did you have a big party yesterday?
Yes.
What kind of party did you have?
Like a bouncy house.
Oh, yeah? What was the theme? Do you have a cartoon character or anything there?
You had Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah, baby Yoda.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Well, your dad done a really good job. He won you a race for your birthday, so you should be really proud of him.
I am.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, you have a good night. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what it's all about. You going to get her into racing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if she wants to get into it, I'm going to let her do it. So
Yeah.
she's played around on the rig a little bit. So
Right.
We've done an AI race at Talladega before, and she was so excited when she won. So, you said it a little low, but I was pretty amazed. She was able to hold a line throughout the whole race and everything. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I aggravate John all the time because whenever we was doing the off-season race, between the last season 2 and season 3, you guys were in here practicing, and I let Bentley. I held the gas pedal and just let him steer. I wasn't going but like 40 or 50, but he was just keeping it in between the walls, and that's what I told him to do. I mean, just 4 years old, but I aggravated John. I'm like, he spun less than you did that practice. But I bought that Humble bundle that was on sale here a couple months ago, and it came with 3 months of iRacing. So I'm keeping that in my back pocket and going to activate it whenever he's ready. Well, kind of when he's ready, but use that as his account. And it's probably but I think I have to activate it before so long, so I may end up doing something else with it. But that'll be his. That's something to look forward to for the both of us, though. Get them into racing, that'll be a blast. Maybe. Maybe they'll be competing, and Bentley will be wrecking her in a few years.
Yeah, I've had a couple of special schemes.
Yeah, I
We've
know.
got a really great rivalry going.
Yeah.
and we play into it. So
Yeah,
a
we
couple of
do.
my schemes, I've got 51 was here in certain spots you've hit me. So
Yeah, even let's see the truck. See, I missed. You ran the paint scheme the same throwback that you had at Darlington, right? You just ran the
yeah.
paint.
So I just ran the paint, but that race, that paint scheme I ran for Darlington. I forgot you were going to be in it, so I actually didn't put that on the bumper until that race.
Oh, okay. That's
So
funny.
yeah, it kind of worked out that I forgot to change my paint in trading paints for the Talladega race. I changed it in all my other stuff, but I didn't change it in the Venom one. So you
Yeah.
got to see that perfect. So
Yeah, because I
and
missed
then
that
the,
missed that
yeah.
at Darlington. That was funny. Yeah, I remember
the
seeing that mid race, cracking up.
the dirt race as well.
Yeah,
I had it on the left rear quarter panel.
yeah. You messaged me about that one.
Yep.
Yeah. We probably, I'd say me and you probably have the biggest rivalry in Venom. I would think.
It's a good friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
I mean,
You still owe me though.
better, so.
There's more that's coming. I've
It'll come.
yeah.
But it'll go both ways. So.
Right. Nah, I know that when I race with you, you're one of the cleanest guys on track, and we all make mistakes, and I've proven that a lot. And I know that I got one coming, but I know that the way you are, you'll do it in the right time. Kind of like this guy did today.
Yeah.
All right.
There
so
were a lot of people mad about that, but I think it was perfect. So.
Yeah, if he had, okay, I don't want to talk about this all night, but if he had just dumped AJ and caught him and moved him like that, then I probably wouldn't have been so accepting of it. But the fact that he got moved and then he just shoved him the exact same way, the only difference is AJ bounced off Bowman. If that didn't happen, then AJ would have finished second. And so in my mind, and of course being a biased fan, I'm okay with it. But
Ross is a great person. I actually met Ross at Texas Motor Speedway. We went to have season tickets, and we went there for a truck race. And we were walking through the midway, and the Chevy booth, they actually stopped us. They're like, "Hey, y'all want to drive? We're looking for drivers for the parade truck. You can come over here and sign up, and you can drive." And you walk through the midway in any race, you're like, "Yeah, what am I giving up for this? You're gonna bombard my email and spam call my phone 24 hours a day on this?" And they're like, "No, seriously, we just don't have drivers. So if you haven't been drinking, just give us your license and we'll give you a pass and you can go down there at race start." So we did that, and so we we got to get in the Chevy trucks and the driver introductions. And Ross got in the back of my truck, and as we're going through around the track, it was great seeing him interact with not only the fans but all the safety personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of the safety personnel on the inside of the track, he thanked them all the way around the track. And then when we got out, when he stopped, he saw I was trying to record, so he actually grabbed my phone, took a selfie with it on my phone, and then took a picture of it, in the back of the truck with the whole crowd. So it was. I've got to find the picture.
Awesome.
I'll post it up on.
Oh,
the Discord
heck yeah!
sometime. But yeah,
That's awesome.
It was a great thing. So.
Yeah, he those races, man, they're almost desperate to try to get. They're almost desperate to try to get people to drive those trucks. Like places around here will actually give away like vouchers, and my one of my family members actually has a voucher from like a permanent voucher to drive the truck every single year for the night race at the Bristol race to drive one of the driver trucks.
Ever since then, every time we go there, we actually stop at the Chevy booth and ask them, and we've never been able to do it since. So.
Oh man.
But yeah, it was right place, right time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But I've been a fan of Ross since, and I mean he's a wheelman, but he's aggressive.
Yeah, he is very aggressive. I wish he would tone it back just a little, and I think he will as he matures.
Yeah.
And he got his first one out of his system, so maybe
Yeah,
he'll
yeah.
dial it back a little. He won't be eager to get that one, but it's hard to win, man. Whether it's
Yeah,
there or whether it's here. So I'll let that lead me into my next question, and the final question to kind of sum up this season and how things are going. What is your outlook in these final two races? You've got a little bit of a deficit. You kind of find yourself in a similar situation as last year, but maybe a little bigger hill to climb this year. Are you in it to win it at this point? Got to win two races? Is that the way you look at it, or?
Absolutely. I'm going to try to do everything I can to win the last two races. And the thing is, I'm going into two tracks that I feel really, really confident in. Wilkesboro is going to be a tough track. It's one you kind of slide around and you have to really drive the track. And I think it really fits into my driving style.
Yeah.
And Homestead in season 1. I had some issues in Homestead season 1 that I don't like to talk about, but I screwed up going into turn 1. I had Jeff Langston on my outside, and I drove in really hard and spun it, after winning the pole. I had some wheel issues prior to that, so I was on a different wheel, and I had my button sequence kind of weird. And what I usually use for toe is I use my paddles, and I have to hit both paddles. Well, my other wheel broke, so I was on my old Logitech wheel. Well, my shifter wouldn't work for it. My Fanatec shifter wouldn't work for it. So I had everything on the wheel, and I was using the paddle shifter to shift. Well, when I spun, I went to try to. I was didn't know where my wheel was located at. So I'm sitting there trying to downshift or upshift, getting the right gear, and I'm just sitting there hitting the paddles. Well, I hit both paddles at one time, and it towed.
Oh no!
So I didn't hit anything, and I towed. So I lost 2 laps right off the bat towing, and I didn't think it would be that bad because I figured we'd have another caution, but the race went caution free the rest of the race, and I'm all but made up both those laps by myself, just running through the field. Anybody there will tell you I was the fastest person there that night.
I remember that.
I just had a mistake early and let it compound.
Oh my gosh!
I'm really looking forward to Homestead.
I knew
for some retribution.
Yeah. Oh, you deserve that then. I knew that something had happened to you, but I got so caught up in my own self-pity and everything that was happening in my race going on there. Because when you spun, I think Paul Sargent seen you spinning. Yep. And he spun and hit me in the door. And he turned me down in front of, I think it was Zittel. And Zittel meatballed in my side. And it knocked my steering out of alignment. My wheel was, the little red tape that you can see there on yours is supposed to be at the top around, I think the way I run mine, it's at 12, maybe just a little to the right. I kind of want it to sit, backwards as it's going down the straightaway. It was completely cocked over. So as I was running, my tape was sitting at like 2 o'clock, maybe between 1 and 2. And I drove like that the rest of the night. I can't remember where I finished, but I was just trying to salvage because I was in a tight battle with Jeff, and I couldn't afford
top 10. So
I'm thinking it was my worst finish of the season, other than Atlanta. I'm thinking that it was. I can't look. I was about to click on Discord, but if I do, I'll lose the page. I'm thinking it was 8th. I think I finished 8th. Could be wrong, but. Yeah, Homestead's going to be interesting. That's going to be a really fun track. I feel like it runs a lot like turns 3 and 4 at Atlanta, or maybe I got that backwards. Maybe 1 and 2 at Atlanta. But Atlanta was a fun race.
I was going to say it runs a lot like Atlanta, and if there's a couple different lines that you can be really, really fast in, but you've got to almost be perfect every single lap to do it.
They're dangerous. It's slick.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say you either can run the white line, but if you miss it, you end up halfway up the track, sliding up the track, or you run right on the edge of the wall. Mm-hmm. But again, if you overstep it, then you're in the wall. So,
and if you don't do it right, you can eat up the tires a lot more too.
Yeah. I've got a bigger hole to climb. Ryan has been nothing but, lights out all year. So
Yeah, he's been on it.
I've had some races where I had some issues. Whether it be computer issues at the Oval Motegi, or I just had some personal things going on at Texas. Had some mistakes that I made, and then I didn't even feel like finishing the race, so I just parked it after the mistake. So I just parked it. So
Texas will be your drop, won't it?
Motegi will actually be my drop.
Oh, okay.
I finished 21st at Motegi, but then came up with at 20th at Texas.
So you're 46, 47 points back?
I think what we figured after the drop, right now we're like 46, 47. I think after the drop I'll be 31 points back.
Okay.
I basically have got to win and lead the most laps the next 2 weeks actually, and need to have Ryan to have some problems to have a shot. If I win and lead the most laps at Wilkesboro, as long as Ryan doesn't leave with the 26-point lead, he will have to he'll actually have to race me in Homestead. Anything over 26 points and he automatically wins. He goes into Homestead with the championship locked up.
Dang. Yeah, that's a big hill, but
but he's, like I said, he's absolutely deserved it. He's had, I think, an average finish of about third the entire year. So that's going to be hard to beat no matter what.
I know he has tore it up. But it's been a good season nonetheless. I think you've won 3 races. You got 5 now
3 races,
total.
5 total. Yeah. 5 total wins.
So you're closing in on Jeff. You got 1 more to go, and you'll tie him for second all time. Is that on your mind any at all, or you just go do what you do?
I don't really ever think of it. I just want to go out and have fun, and whatever happens. So if it's a win, great. If it's not, that's great too. As long as I have a good time with it. The guys in this league are absolutely awesome to race against. So I'd rather finish second sometimes, but have a good race than to just go out and dominate and beat everybody down. So if it wasn't any other day than my daughter's birthday, I probably actually feel bad for taking that win from Dean.
Yeah.
At the same time, I've talked to him as well. I don't want to give anybody a win.
No.
I'm gonna give you my all.
Yep.
But we were on pins and needles looking at the results on that, and when it popped up, I was happy, and then I was like, oh man, I can't believe that. That sucks. I beat Dean.
It reminded me, the way he's been on such a tear and been so close, it reminded me of Denny passing to Benedetto at Bristol, the way that happened. And I almost said that, and I'm like, too soon. And I didn't say anything about it, but I'll say it now because I thought it. So, I ain't gonna hide that. But yeah, that was wild. That was the closest finish we've ever had, and it can't be beat. It was a tie. It was a dead even tie. I don't know what the tie break. Well, the fact that you won by that much, but
somebody told me that in the results page or something, it actually goes down to four decimal places, but off of the results page right after the race, it only went to 3, and it was 0-0-0.
Yeah.
So, and even the replay, I think it had me just an inch ahead.
Yeah, it was very close.
It gave me credit for leading a whole lot, but I think I led about 5 feet of that race.
Most important 5 feet of the race.
Pretty much.
But all right, man. Well, we got 2 races left, and next week is a new week. Maybe we'll see you back in here doing another interview talking about North Wilkesboro. You never know. I feel like you're going to be one of the biggest threats, one of the top dogs that's up front running for that win again.
Yes, sir. Hopefully so.
Good luck. I wish you luck for the rest of the season if I don't speak to you, but I have a feeling at least one of the 2 weeks there's a very good chance of having you back in here and talking to you. So wish you the best.
Hope to be back in here soon. So.
Yep. All right. Well, I think I appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's fun as always.
Absolutely.
I'm not very professional, but we do what we can to have fun, give people the spotlight. It's like I told John, people that come out and win these races, you deserve to have a little attention and get a little of the shine. as the week goes on, get people to, as they watch back and see you talk about your race and stuff, and get to talk about others and rip others and crack jokes and all that good stuff. So
it's a great thing to do because you get the perspective of what they were thinking through the
Right.
entire race. So
and that can help somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep. I'm glad. I was glad you're able to get your daughter on to do that. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she.
Yeah.
I'm sure she enjoys that. She'll have fun going back and watching herself.
When I told her yesterday, I said, "Hey, you want to be on YouTube?" Because she watches a ton of YouTube, and I said, "You want to be on YouTube? We're gonna do an interview, and we want to have you on there since I won on your birthday." And she was excited, but then she was like, "I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do."
I could tell she got nervous there. It's funny because I can put that. Well, the camera's here now, but I put the camera up here, and I drive and I forget about it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll talk to people like it's nothing." Then as soon as I have to look at the thing, it's like freeze it up. Yeah. I'll lock up. I'm like, I don't know how to do. I don't know. Like, what is it? Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
I'm still recording. I'm gonna get John to cut that.